Hey everyone, welcome to the stream. How are we going? Obviously, love seeing that racial slur straight off the get-go. But welcome everyone to the stream. This is going to be a video that's actually out after the fact as well. So this will be a video that people will be able to watch 20 years from now. Even though I don't think that'll be the case. But, you know, they can watch it tomorrow. They can watch it 3 hours after the stream, whatever. So this video will be out after. And if you are busy at the moment, you should be able to come back and watch this later. But, yeah, it's probably better to be here live and stuff like that. So we will be jumping into this in a second. Just want to welcome it, get everyone into the stream. You know, have a bit of a chat beforehand. But hopefully everyone's having a good day and all of that. Nothing on today. Actually, no, Supergirl's on today, so I guess that's relevant. But obviously we have Arrow tomorrow and its finale, and then Flash the day after. I wasn't sure if I was gonna do like another video today, but I thought let's do something fun while it's. I guess the Flash and Arrow are still on. But yeah, so we'll do this for a bit. Obviously, if you joined me, did we do this exactly a week ago? I think we did the season rankings. So, and people did say to do the villains. I think they specifically just said Flash, but there's, like, unless you include all the side villains, there's not really much there. So, but if you are watching this after the fact, you know, 3 hours later and stuff, I will leave a time in the description when we start doing the ranking, just so you can jump to it, so you skip out and all this stuff. But we'll just have a chat for a couple of minutes before, like, I don't, or Mustang, like, I don't know what the whole, like, the goal from that is. I'm just gonna ban him. How do I ban hide user? Yeah, like I'll just literally ban. Like, I don't really care too much. Like, you will just get banned. Water off my back. But yeah, so there's a controversial statement already by the Saturday Gamer. Sabotage equals best villain. So we might have different thoughts about that, Saturday Gamer, but obviously this is going to be a bit of a divisive one. I think this is probably going to be more divisive than maybe the seasons one was, because I think there's only like maybe 2 or 3 of the seasons where people like completely disagreed with it, or there was a decent amount of like debate going on, like, oh no, this should be there, this should be there, and stuff like that. So the villains one should be pretty interesting. And I didn't put Apartment 4. Well, Apartment 4 is not really a villain. They're more of like a anti-hero. So yeah, Apartment 4 doesn't really get into this list, unfortunately. So there's some controversial opinions already coming in that this thing might trigger you. But as I did with my season rankings, we are going to, like, you know, if I'm sure on where a person should be, they go there. But if there's one, like, I think we're debating it over, I think it was like a season of Arrow and a season of Legends, I think it was, and maybe a season of Supergirl as well. I needed your help in the comments to, you know, help me put it in a certain place. So yeah, so that will happen. I'm sure. Actually, I think this will happen more this time around than the last time. So okay, let's go. Okay, let's jump into it. Let's get into it right now. Okay, so I'm covering up slightly a bit of Deathstroke there, but I tried to move it around to the point where it you know, I wasn't covering it up so much. So I need to I'll just do this so I can bring this forward and then do that. Okay, because I need to sort of be able to see the screen, see the comment section. Sorry. Okay, maybe if I bring this over here, I should be able to do that. And no, that's stuffed it up. What have I done? Hold on, let me try and fix this quickly on the fly, the good old fly. Let me try and fix it up. Oops, I've stuffed it up. Sick one, Pagey, you absolute idiot. Let's see if I can quickly fix this up. Okay, give me 2 seconds, guys. This is me being an idiot on stream. It's nothing new. No one should really be too surprised by it. It's a common occurrence. Okay, let me fix this up. There we go. And okay, I think that's okay. We'll deal with that. That's as good as we're gonna get. Okay, let's just leave it there because I feel like I'm gonna stuff it up if I touch anything else. Pagey, don't touch anything. You're gonna break everything. Let's leave it there. Okay. Yeah, I'm an idiot. just give me some slack. Okay, I'm not using a website. I'm using Photoshop. Just because I think it was a bit easier for OBS to like just get connected to, I guess. So we're using OBS. So let me just, okay, so here we go. Okay, so the way we're going to go through it, it's basically the same for what we did with the, whatchamacallit, the, what am I trying to say? The, actually, maybe if I do this quickly, let me try and extend this a bit, and maybe those guys will pop out there. Okay, I think that's better. Okay, you can see all of them. It was cut off for a bit there, but now it's full screen. Awesome. I'm so good at technology. Okay. Oh, by the way, thank you for the super chats. If you do want to super chat throughout the thing, it's, you know, greatly appreciated. But thank you to Doug for the $2. Who said is a partner for a villain, as we discussed. It's a bit of an anti-hero. And then Naruto with the $5. Flash finale trailer kind of spoiled that the dagger isn't destroyed. Yeah, and also the promo images did as well. But I don't know. I guess if it was destroyed straight away, Reverse Flash would get out. So maybe they had to do that. Okay. So yeah, we'll go through it. We go in order. So we go Arrow Season 1, Flash Season 1, Legend Season 1. So through the seasons. So at the end, there'll probably be like, what, 2 Arrow villains in a row? Because they're ahead. So that's just how it's going to work. And yeah, so S is like top tier, super tier, superior tier, whatever you want to call it. A is just, and it just gets into simple rankings. Like A's like very good. B is just like, yeah, it was okay. C is like, it's a bit below average. And then F is like, yuck, get that away from me. Holy crap, my eyes. Where's the bleach? That's basically what F is. So actually, funnily enough, there isn't that many Fs. I don't think they're actually, I'm trying to think of it. Some of you guys might think there's a fat F. Some of you might think there's a fat F. But, I don't know, for me, I know, I might be a bit of a troll and give one of these guys an F. Actually, a couple of them an F, just for the meme. Anyway, but we'll get through it. So the first one we're going to be doing is, of course, the Season 1 villain, that being Malcolm Merlin. Malcolm Merlin. Okay, so, and the way we base it off with this, it's a bit unfair in some cases and a bit more of an advantage with some. So, obviously, some of these characters and villains appeared in more than one season. So they were the main villain for one season, then they were recurring for seasons after that, or they came back for episodes and stuff like that. This mainly is the case with really Arrow. Arrow has done this a bit, and it's not really just specific to Arrow, but over other things as well. But obviously it is the case with Flash as well, with 1 or 2 of them. But we start off with Malcolm Merlin. And I will discuss like what I thought about them in the first season and afterwards. But in the first season, if it was just season 1, he would get an easy A. Easy A. I thought he was a really good season 1 villain. Did what he needed to do. I thought the story there was good. It tied into like the history of Oliver and everything like that. But the thing that really brings Malcolm down is his roles in like season 4 mainly. I really hated Malcolm in season 4. I didn't mind the whole thing where like he goes and takes Thea and stuff. I thought it actually added stuff to Thea's character. But really, because of season 4, I think he goes down to a B. I don't think that's a heavy thing to give. I think Malcolm deserves a B. As I said, if it was season 1, and that's why I said it's sometimes a disadvantage to some of these characters, because he's in more seasons and there's more potential to stuff up the character. And with some characters, being in more help them. And I think you might be able to pick out which one that is out of this bunch. But with Malcolm, it was just, yeah, how do you say it? It was just, he spent too much time cooking. Is that even the best term to use? He just spent too much time in the kitchen. So, as I said, season 1, well, he's only at the end of season 2. And then with season 3, I think he'd still be an A. But season 4 sort of brings him down to a B. Just, I don't know, that's just my opinion. I know there's people saying he's an A, but season 4 brought him down to a B. It's probably maybe like teetering and tottering, but he was pretty damn bad in season 4. So I'm going to have to give him a B. I'm just going to have to. I'm sorry. Okay, so I know there's people disagreeing with me. Some people saying C, but I think C is way too harsh. I think like B is, in my opinion, the best place to put him, because I think, yeah, season 4 sort of brought him down a bit from, I shouldn't include season 4. That is true, but you got to be fair. You can't just ignore stuff. But now we move on to your boy, who's obviously going to be a big a big part of this week on The Flash, and that is our yellow friend and our yellow homie, aka Eobard Thawne, aka the Reverse Flash. Of course, there's nothing really that brings him down. And also, it's got to be important. He's not only in Flash Season 1 as a main thing, and then this season, The Flash as well. He's also in Legends Season 2, and is really good in Legends Season 2. So he has 3 seasons where he is either the villain or a main focus. Like, Legends, he's the villain. So 2 seasons of being the villain, and, you know, this season, The Flash as being like an overarching threat and just a bit of a pain in the ass. It's an easy S. Like, there's no debate. Like, if anyone's saying A, what are you doing? He's obviously an S. He is the top tier villain for the Flash. Is that fitting properly? Whatever, we'll just leave it there. Top tier villain dude for the Flash. There's no question about it. Yeah, I don't think there's even any point debating it, though. He's in the Flashpoint episode too. Yeah, that's true. He's in the the one Flashpoint episode. That is true. I forgot about that. But is there even any point really discussing this anymore? I mean, Reverse Flash is obviously going to be top tier. I think we all knew that going into this stream and video. So literally no surprise there. So why are we even brah, who said B? I'm gonna kill you. Yeah, I don't know. And he basically said, I think it's an S. You can't really debate it. But now let's move on to Legends Season 1. Vandal Savage. The thing with Vandal Savage is I think he had the potential to be a really good villain. And some people liked him a lot. The main thing that really killed his story and anything that's going on with him was the fact that in the crossover just before Legends started, so in Season 2 of Flash and Season 4 of Arrow, oh god, that Season 4 of Arrow comes back to bite us in the ass. They did that crossover where they introduced Hawkgirl and Hawkman, but also they introduced Vandal Savage, and they did a lot of backstory and setup with that character, which killed like half of the season of Legends. Like, the reason the first half of Legends Season 1 is a bit rough and not that good is because of that crossover, because it did so much of the story and ate stuff that they could do in that first half of the season. And that really affected Vandal Savage. I think if that didn't happen, he'd probably be a B, but I think he's a C. I think he's a C. Like, he's okay. I think the actor did a decent job. It was just one of those things where, like, I felt like making excuses for the Legends not to defeat him and certain bits like that. And it just felt like he was there for the sake of being there a lot of the time. But as I said, I think if they didn't do that thing in the crossover, he would be a B. And I'm confident with that. But I think a C is a fair ranking. There's people saying F. Yeah, I could sort of understand that, but I think that's still a bit rough, to be completely honest. I think C is a fair ranking for what we got on the show and everything like that. So I'm going to stick him with C. I think that's the best place to put him. But next we have... Now, I know it's Non and Astra, but I could only get one picture, and Non was easier to type into Google Images than Astra. So it's Non and Astra. I think Astra's technically the villain, but they were like a partner villain thing for Supergirl Season 1. I can't even remember Supergirl Season 1, apart from the Flash Supergirl crossover and like the episode where Martian Manhunter reveals himself. Those are the 2 episodes I actually remember. But Non, I can't even remember you, so you go straight to an F. You sucked. Like, Supergirl Season 1 sucked. The biggest Bebo balls of all time. I don't know. Well, that's a bit harsh, but it wasn't very good, and the villains didn't help the fact that it wasn't very good. So Non, I'm just going to put you at F, because I can't really be bothered dealing with you. So let's just move on to someone that's much better. That, of course, being your boy, Slade Wilson, a.k.a. Deathstroke. I don't know how you say his villain name. I think it's Deathstroke. I think. It's Deathstroke. Deathstroke? I can't remember I don't know how you pronounce it. We'll just go with Deathstroke. So Deathstroke, he was a really good villain on Arrow Season 2. Obviously, the only time he's come back and not been very good was that Season 3 episode when, like, Theo goes to the island and stuff like that, and they depower Deathstroke and all of that. So I'm thinking F, but then also I'm thinking S. Let's just put him there. Okay, so Deathstroke, obviously, S for Slade. He's top tier. He's top tier. You can't really debate that. I think he's only had one foul or like not very good moment, which was that Season 3 thing, and the actor hated it. The actor, when he, like, Manu Bennett hates that, and he actually sort of didn't want to come back to Arrow because of that, because he felt like they were just bringing the character down and everything like that. So he wasn't very happy with all of that, which I can completely understand. Just making sure I can see the chat. You almost got me with that F. Trust me. Yeah, I can imagine that. People having heart attacks and stuff like that. I'm just going through the chat quickly just to see what people are saying. Deathstroke. Okay. So I've been Deathstroke. Okay, so that's how you pronounce it. Okay, I wasn't too sure. But anyway, obviously I think that's an easy choice. You know, Slade Wilson, Deathstroke at S. I think that's an easy one. Now, this is where we move on to an interesting one, which I don't know how people are going to feel about. Like, because there's going to be one where I think people are going to be like adamant it's an S, and one an adamant that it's an A, and that's Zoom. Now, Zoom for me, I thought was really good in season 2. The thing that really like sort of pushed it away, and like not pushed it away, but sort of like brought down his season, was his plan at the end. I thought it sucked. Like, I thought it was really crap. But overall, like, he was more present than Reverse Flash, and they were able to keep him more relevant and not boring at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, he was consistently interesting throughout the entire season and consistently threatening. Like, he's really bordering on an S, but I don't want to overdo the S. I just don't, because you got to think, is he the same tier as Reverse Flash and Deathstroke? And I don't think he is. I don't think he's almost there. Like, he's basically like, oh, I'm creeping up. I'm almost there. But then I'm like, oh, I don't know. But this is the one where I'm going to let you guys decide in the chat. So let me know, S or A. Spam it in the chat. Let me know. Well, not spam it, just leave one so there's not an over amount of it. But S or A, let me know, because this is up to you, because I'm torn between it. Okay? Ooh, I'm seeing a lot of A's. I think A's winning at the moment. I'll give it like another 10 seconds. I think A's already won. Yeah, I'm not even going to bother. Yeah, people saying it's close to S, but it's an A. Okay, so let's just not even bother anymore. It's an A, okay? It's a simple A. Yeah, I think someone wrote it's S except for the plan. And the plan is a big thing. You know, the villain can be threatening as much as he wants, but if there's no reason for him being threatening, and or the reason is pretty crap, then you have to take some points off. So I think A is fair. Let's be completely honest. Like, I can understand if you wanted him S, because I'm torn between it as well. But yeah, he's just A. Someone asked, where is Godspeed? We're just doing the main villain. So Godspeed was in an episode. So there's no point. Like, there could be heaps of like, where's all the rogues and stuff like that. So yeah. So yeah, Zoom's an A. So this is where we now move on to the Legion of Doom. So this is a group villain, obviously. So this is the only group villain of the thing. I guess Non and Astra is technically a group, but we have 4 people here, which was Damien Dark, Malcolm Merlin, Reverse Flash, then Captain Cold for a bit of it as well. So Legion of Doom, which is obviously Legends Season 2. And they were really enjoyable. Like, Legends Season 2 is really good, and the main thing that makes it really good is the Legion of Doom. Like, having all these characters together and working together was a lot of fun, and it was really good. The only thing that I think brings them down, and it sounds weird, is that it wasn't really the Legion of Doom come the end of it. It just ended up being Reverse Flash, and it's almost like they just used the Legion of Doom as a thing to bring in Reverse Flash and just making the villain. Sorry. So the Legion of Doom, I think it's an A. I think a lot of people are saying it's an A as well, and I agree with that. I think it's an A. It's Legend's best villain, and it was a lot of fun to watch. I didn't really have too many issues with anything they did for the most part. And I think they worked well together. I think the chemistry, especially between like Damien Dark and Reverse Flash, was a lot of fun to watch. And even Malcolm Merlin being there was a lot of fun as well. Yeah, and I thought, you know, Reverse Flash's plan made sense as well, what he was trying to do. And especially when you get like that Doom World episode towards the end, it was really good as well. So I think that's fair. A for Legion of Doom. Okay, now we move on to Raya, who was Supergirl Season 2 villain, and was Mon-El's mum. F. Let's move on. Not even going to bother, because I can't remember what her plan was. All I know is that they put lead into the atmosphere to get rid of them or kill them or something. And yeah, okay. So Ra's al Ghul, let's move on. No point even wasting time on Raya. So Ra's al Ghul. really, really good in the first 2/3, and then he basically turns into an Olicity shipper towards the end, and it makes no sense. They go completely against his character, and you're like, what the hell happened here? So, Ra's al Ghul, I think he's a B. I want to say he's a B. Like, if it was based on that first half, maybe first 2/3 of the season, he'd be maybe an A. Honestly, if he kept up like those first couple appearances he had, he would probably almost be an... Oh, no, he'd probably still be an A. But I think B's fitting, seeing how they ended his story and everything like that. So I think B is a fair thing to do with Ra's al Ghul. Obviously, he appeared in Legends, I think, in one episode. I don't think he appeared on Arrow after he died. But he did appear on Legends for one episode, but that was just like a time travel sort of thing. Like, nothing really too much about that. But I think B's fair. And I know, like, someone just wrote he's not as good as Malcolm, but it's not really about being as good. It's more about ranking. So, like, is the Legion of Doom as good as Zoom, or is, something better than something? It's not really about being on the same tier or the same level. It's just more about that sort of ranking tier, if that makes sense. Hopefully I'm speaking English right now. But I just want to, while we finish up with Ra's al Ghul, I do want to quickly go through some super chats. So thank you very much to Naruto with the $2. And he goes, with Malcolm, did you take into account Legends Season 2? I did, but Season 4 of Arrow was just really bad for the character. That just does knock him down to B. And then Callum put £2. Seeing Deathstroke in Season 5 finale was so hype. I agree, definitely. And that's probably one of his brighter moments, I guess you could say. But yeah, we're done with Ra's al Ghul, so now let's move on. Ooh, this will be interesting. Sabotage. Ooh, okay. So I had issues with Sabotage towards the end. So initially, Sabotage was a very interesting, and you're very curious about him. He's a villain, like, ooh, what's going on here? But when it comes down to it, he sucked towards the end. Like, the reveal that he was Barry was terrible. It was just like, what? And it was pretty bad. Now, there's people saying it's an F. It's not an F. But Sabotage, like, he just sort of got uninteresting as we moved along. And then, like, the whole thing with, like, I think the reason people maybe liked him was because he was going to kill Iris, but then that turned into, like, this massive, like, just fail, and a massive, like, the Season 3 finale is arguably one of the worst episodes ever because it wastes your time. That's the issue with Season 3. You feel like your time was completely wasted because they set something up and you're like, okay, how are they going to deal with it? And then they put a scapegoat, or not a scapegoat, an expendable character to just die. You know what I mean? And Sabotage, yeah, I don't know. So I think, like, the setup for Sabotage was half decent. It wasn't amazing. He was never going to be S tier even if he continued on. He's bordering between a B and a C. For me, I'd put him C, but I know people are going to get triggered by that, so I'm going to give it to the chat. B or C, let me know. It's not don't put A, S, or F. B or C. That's what I need. So B or C in the chat, and you will decide where Sabotage goes. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of C's. C's definitely winning at the moment. Yeah, okay, well, I don't even have to really look too much now because it's just constant C. So Sabotage, you're in C, mate. That's where you end up. If I can put you there properly. Okay, there we go. I'm just going to quickly move some of these so it's a bit more space. Just give me 2 seconds just to move a couple of these people. I probably should have moved more. Wow, I failed at this. Wow, am I an idiot? The answer is probably yes. Okay, and then I can quickly just move these two up here. So just some space. Okay, sweet. Who's the next one? Okay. Oh, shit, I just knocked my mic. Sorry about that. Are the people triggered that Sabotage got put into C? Because I know there's people that love Sabotage, but he's not very good towards the end of the season. So I think there was some B's towards the end, but I think C was the fair place to put him. Because that's where I would have put him, and that's where a lot of people were voting to put him. Console Creature wrote "You're stupid" without spelling stupid right, so that's the irony. Anyway, Mullis or Mullis or Malasa, however you pronounce him, Season 3 villain for Legends of Tomorrow. Obviously, he was this demon that was like stuck in a void that was allowed to come out through like time being ripped or something. The explanation was a bit, what's going on here? I guess the best thing about Mullis and his involvement in season 3 of Legends is that he was the reason for the rise and I guess dominance of our Lord and Savior Bebo. So if Mullis was never there, Bebo would never have, decided to make himself so well known. So I think he's bordering between a C and an F. Because he wasn't, like, there was not much to him. Like, let's be completely honest. It was just like, what? Like, there was not much for him. He moved the story along, but I thought, like, there was nothing that interesting or, like, unique to the character. I don't know. What are people saying in the chat? People saying C and F. It is a C or an F. Should I be... Did I hate the villain? I did hate him, so I think I'm going to give him a C. I'm going to give him a C. Because I didn't mind him. I just didn't think he was interesting or anything like that. I think he's probably on the level of, like, Vandal Savage. You know what I mean? I can understand if you want an F, but, let's keep F just a Supergirl, a Supergirl territory. I think that's the best place to put him. But now, speaking of Supergirl, let me just take a drink of water as we move on to the Supergirl Season 3 villain, otherwise known as Rain. Now, Rain is a character sort of maybe similar to Sabotage, not in regards to how they look, I guess, but in regards to how their story went. So, Rain in Supergirl Season 3 was really strong in the first half, but faltered, and she just felt the effects of the Season 3 rewrites. I think if she kept up her Season 3 first half arc, or first half of her arc, if that's English, probably an A. I'm going to be completely honest, probably an A. However, she faltered and was half decent towards the end. But the second half of the season was just a bit all over the place. So I think she's probably a B. She sort of reminds me of like Ra's al Ghul, sort of in his story, how it was good, but then it sort of wasn't the focus and sort of just fell off a bit. So I think B is a good place for Rain to be. B to B. I think that's fair. I think a lot of people are agreeing in the chat. Yeah, it's a B or a C. I think for me personally, I think she's a B. I think that's probably the best place to put her. As I said, I think the first half of her arc was an A, or like an A minus. But I think what happened in the second half where they did all that weird crap. I think it's probably better to put B. And for some people going, like Dalton went, does this guy know that the letter D exists? It's the same with my season rankings, just that I don't want to put a D. If you're a D, you probably deserve to be an F anyway, because it's like S is superior, A is, it was very good, B is like, it was okay, it was okay. C is, it's below average, and an F is just like, let's just not even talk about them. So that's the ranking system right there. You should make a spot above S just for Bebo. Well, Bebo isn't a villain. If we're just talking about characters, and we probably do this as well, we'll probably rank the heroes of the Arrowverse maybe next week. Let me know in the chat. Do you want that next week? We'll rank the heroes, so it'll be the main heroes and then like the side heroes as well. Let me know if you want that next week, and we'll do that. So last week we did the seasons. This week we're doing the villains, and so next week we'll do the heroes. Okay, everyone's saying yes. Okay, so we'll do that next week. So remind me on Twitter as well. If you're on Twitter next week, and remind me, Paige, don't forget to do that stream, because for some reason I might forget. Don't ask me why, but I might. Okay, so now let's move on to Damien Dark. Okay, so Damien Dark, Arrow season 4. He got stuck with the the old crappy end of the stick, if you want to call it. Really, I know a lot of people will be saying straight up F, but I think he actually was probably one of the, I guess, more of the brighter moments of season 4. Like, he was just a mediocre villain in a crap season, which made it just seem pretty bad. And he was good in Legends of Tomorrow Season 2 and Legends of Tomorrow Season 3. I think he's actually really decent in those seasons. Is it enough to make him a B? No. However, I think he's a C. I think if it was just based off Arrow Season 4, I can understand if you're like, give him an F, Page, you give him an F. but he had 2 solid seasons as being a main focus in Legends of Tomorrow, and I think he redeemed himself a decent amount. Look, some people are saying B, and I can completely understand that, but just saying Arrow Season 4 triggers me to no end, so I think just putting him at C is fair. I think C is fair. I think the people saying F probably haven't watched Legends, because if you watch Legends, you'd be like, okay, yeah, he was decent in that. So it probably bumps him up a few points. But I think C is fair. I think, yeah, I can understand if people want him in B or if they want him in F. But I just think, I think C's like a nice little even territory to put him. I think that's the best place to put him, to be completely honest. Yo, Paige, I was beating my meat right now. Well, hopefully it's not to this video, because that's some weird material to do to be doing that to. Unless you're looking at Mullis. If you're looking at Mullis, then I can understand that. But now let's move on to Clifford DeVoe, aka the Thinker. Obviously from season 4 of The Flash. And I think a lot of you will agree with me when I say this. The Thinker had the potential to be actually a really good villain. And I think at stages he was a really good villain. The main issue is that they did the whole body swap thing. And I hated the body swap thing, because you cast an actor to play a character for a specific reason. So when Neil Sandilands, who played the normal Clifford DeVoe and Thinker, when he was a Thinker, you're like, okay, this is cool because he's a good actor. He fit that role. He felt menacing. He felt like he was this evil mastermind. But then they body swapped to all these different characters, and the only one that sort of felt like okay when he swapped bodies was that first one. I can't remember what that character's name was. Whatever his name was. But it was like the first guy, the black dude that he changed into like the mid-season finale or something, and he annoyed Barry at the court case. That was the only one was like, okay, fair enough. Like, it didn't feel extremely weird, but didn't feel that great. Dominic was his name. Dominic, that's right. But after that, when they kept body swapping and like the trick got old, it was just like, come on, let's do something new. It just kept up being this. It just kept up being the same thing, and just like it just wasn't that good. It wasn't that good after that. But as soon as it went back to Neil Sandilands towards the end, you're like, yes, woo, let's go. He's back. So because of that, there's people saying DeVoe's an F. I even think with all that body swap crap, he's not an F. But I think if he kept it, if it was just Neil Sandilands, I think he'd be an A. People might be saying, oh, that's a hot take, Pagey. That's a hot take. But I think he would, because he was really good when he was just Neil Sandilands. But I think he's a C. It's weird. That body swap thing you might think might just knock him down 1 to B. But it was pretty bad, and it ruined the season for a lot of people having to follow that. So I think a C is a fair thing, just because of all that body swap crap. And I think if they could go back, they would probably get rid of that, because no one liked that. Like, you're like, oh, okay, that's interesting that he can do that, but it was pretty crap. Like, the only one that I think worked and that they could have done something with, and I'm surprised they didn't do more of it throughout the season, was if he body swapped into Ralph, because then he could change how he looks, and that'd be pretty cool. It would get old pretty quickly, but you could do it for like 3 or 4 episodes. But they did it with the wrong characters, and the characters I think people just didn't care about. So C. Let's go with C for DeVoe. Now we move on to this. Is it trypophobia? Is that the phobia of like holes and stuff? Because Neron does this, and I am including the villains for this season as well. Forgot to mention that. I am including the current villains, and the reason I'm doing that is because we're towards the only one that sort of is affected by this due to like a lack of focus are probably Neron and maybe the Supergirl stuff as well. But Neron, I'm just gonna put him at C, just because I don't really know too much that's going on there, to be completely honest. I'll just move Supergirl up there, or the red Supergirl, whatever she's called. I'm just gonna put Neron at C. I'm just gonna put him at C. I can understand people. I haven't watched the most recent episode of Legends, but actually, you know what? Chat, let me know. Where am I putting Neron? Because I'll put Neron wherever you want me to put him. Neron, C or F? C or F, let me know. Because I'm an episode or 2 behind on Legends. So just let me know, should I put Neron at C or put him in F? I'm seeing Fs. Well, Neron at the moment, you're an F. Okay, I'm sorry, mate. Sorry I can't give you a fair go, but at the moment you're an F. So we'll just leave it there. Okay, but now let's move on to Supergirl's copy. Her scenes have been fairly cool, but she's barely been non-existent. I think she has a focus in today's episode. Supergirl, but I'm just gonna put her C. I think that's just easy to do, just putting her at C. I think that's the easiest thing to do, because she's not terrible, but she hasn't really done much. You know, like after today's episode, she could move up, but yeah, like the real villain for this season, I guess, is Lex Luthor, but this is the character that they're trying to like push as like the big threat, I think, because obviously she can match Supergirl's powers. Yeah, I know there's Agent Liberty, but it's sort of hard because I can only pick one from each season. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to put like what's the big bad, and this is the one they've always tried to push. You know, like the one they've always teased and stuff. Oh, this is the big threat that's coming. So I'm just going to use her as the villain. At the moment, she's a C. But I think after today's episode, she could move up. She could move up because I think today's episode is a focus around it. But yeah, I think it's the easiest place to put it. But now we move on to, a character that's probably going to fill a void that we've been missing. So Prometheus, Adrian Chase from season 5 of Arrow. So Prometheus, we were like, oh, he looked cool before the season started and all of that. But then he sort of fell down. I think he went to a B. I think we'll finish off at a B. So we'll move, okay, obviously I'm joking, up to S. There's not even point in debating it. Prometheus is an S. He really rivaled Deathstroke to be the best villain. I think Deathstroke is still a bit better of a villain, or at least a character, for Arrow, because you had more of a backstory and you understood more of Prometheus and stuff like that. Of Deathstroke. But Prometheus was the best villains are the ones that can make the hero crack, and he made Oliver crack. Like, he was he's a big part of Oliver's story as well, and late in the season as well. Yeah, I'm sure I made people get a bit scared there when they thought I was going to put Prometheus at B. Don't worry, you should have known me better, guys. I was obviously not going to do that. But yeah, there's people saying he's an A. I think he's an S. I don't think, because the reason that season 5 is a good season and a very good season is because of Prometheus. And like him alone as well, because I thought the first season of season 5 was fairly average, but once the Prometheus stuff starts kicking in and it's revealed it's Adrian Chase and all of that stuff happens, and Adrian Chase is just completely playing with Oliver and messing with him, that bumped him up to an S for me. Like, just thinking about it now. That first half of the season is probably like an A, arguably a B, because he's not really doing that much apart from appearing every now and then. But once Adrian Chase like unveils himself and he doesn't really care that Oliver knows he's Prometheus, wow, it's such good character stuff there. So it goes straight to an S there, in my opinion, at least. I can understand if you think, he's just an A, but I think if you think about it a bit more and you see what he did to Oliver and all that, he's an S. Now we move on to the most recent season of Flash, and then we got 2 later Arrow ones. So we have Cicada, even though people are going to go, Paigey, it's Cicada. It's Cicada. It's not Cicada. Look, I'm Australian. In Australia, it's pronounced Cicada. No one in Australia says cicada, because with our accents, it sounds completely stupid. So it's Cicada. And I'm going to keep saying Cicada, Cicada, Cicada. It sounded like hot potato from the Wiggles. Anyway, so Cicada. Really cool concept. I think the concept is really good. The execution is quite below average. So I'll give you an explanation, or no, I'll give you a play-by-play as to how Cicada should have been done compared to how they did him. And this is a rule book for, I think, the majority of villains. Don't introduce your villain in a 20-plus episode season if you expect them to be there at the end. Don't introduce them in the first 5 episodes, let alone the end of episode 1. Don't do that, because you will suffer in the middle of the season where you have to make up stuff and make up reasons to extend that character. DeVoe had that, and the reason they extended the character was the body swapping and stuff. They kept using that as like a filler thing, like, oh, people won't notice this because he's swapping, so it's almost like a new character. It's like, we're not 3 years old, we know what's going on, we can read it. It's crap, it's not that good. The body swapping stuff wasn't good. And with Cicada, they kept him there for way too long. They introduced him way too early and did a lot of development with him in the first few episodes, to the point where, like, okay, is he only a first half villain? Like, we were talking about it. It felt like he was only a first half villain and someone else was coming, because they did so much with him in that first half. but let alone those first few episodes. Like, they did so much with him in the first few episodes that by the 8th episode, they had come to the point where they're like, we have to time travel to stop him. What? You know what I mean? Like, season 2 with Zoom, sure, he's there early on, but Team Flash don't meet him until episode 6. That's when he versus Barry for the first time. The episode's called Enter Zoom, and Zoom absolutely dabs on Barry's, well, almost corpse. So if you're going to introduce a villain early, you don't introduce them to the team. Like, Cicada could have been there since episode 1. However, don't make him interact with Team Flash until much later. Just have him that he's killing people, and he's in episodes for like 30 seconds at the most. At the most. And it's him killing a meta, and that's about it. Just show that he's threatening, and then have Team Flash doing much more other stuff on the outside. Or maybe they're noticing there's murders and everything. It's a side story, essentially, until like episode 6 or 7, and then have like an altercation or something like that. The whole Grace thing, I think, is fine. I actually think that's pretty cool. But once again, it gets to the fact that I think Cicada has already left a bad taste in people's mouths because of everything that happened in, well, really the first 12 to 13 episodes, where it just became a bit of a goddamn meme that he wasn't being caught. As I said, I think Cicada could have been like, because I think the concept is really cool, and he honestly could have been bordering on an A. It's similar to DeVoe. It's really weird with these Flash villains that people end up hating, that the concept is really cool, and they could be really good villains. It's not like a villain that's weak from the get-go, like Mullis or anything like that. They're not weak from the get-go, but seriously, like, it's hard because this season's not over, but we know what's really going to happen with Cicada, so you think you have to put him C. It's really weird. Like, surely I'm not the only one who realizes that, like, or knows how to write these characters better. Like, seriously, it's not hard. It's pretty annoying. It is honestly pretty annoying. Okay, let's just move on. Diaz. Okay, Diaz. It's even hard to call Diaz a villain. It honestly is hard to call Diaz a villain. In regards to like a big bad, because it didn't really feel like he did much, but he was put as like a big bad. But I think he was actually pretty cool. And the thing is, I don't think the writing really did anything wrong with the character. It's sort of a hard one, because some people would think he's an F, but if you really think about it, not much really happened bad with the character. He was just like, he had some cool moments, but it just felt like he wasn't given the screen time, and it just felt like it was a lead up to something else. It was really weird. Like, I was sort of debating whether we even put Diaz in this list, to be completely honest, because I just felt like, yeah, someone wrote, he's like walking exposition. That's what it felt like, but I just don't even, yeah, it doesn't even really feel like a seasoned villain. It was really weird. There's people saying B. I think he's a C though. I think think he's F, because I think he did some cool stuff. But I think in the moment he's just a C. I think that's fair. I can understand if people put him B, but I think he's just a C. Yeah, I understand he had a lot of screen time, but I just felt like there was nothing really going on. Like, usually when you have a villain there, like, something's gonna happen. I just felt like nothing was really. Yeah, when in doubt, go C. That's basically the way it is, because a lot of these characters aren't F tier, but they're not B or A. You know what I mean? I don't know. Actually, you know what, Diaz, because I'm so confused about it, let me know in the chat, where does Diaz belong? Because I'll let you guys decide where he goes, because I'm confused. I know, I was going to say that, Elijah, he killed Quentin, so he did something pretty villainous, but yeah. C is getting overcrowded. B, okay, people are just writing B, so I'm just going to put him at B, just so there isn't so much in C. Okay, so he's in B. Okay, I'll cop that, because I didn't hate Diaz. You know, I didn't really have too many issues with him, apart from, like, it just felt like he didn't do much. So I'll take a B. You know, I really couldn't cop if you put anyone else in C, really, at a B, because I have reasons to put them lower. But I can accept a B for Diaz. But now we move on to the last one, which is Emeco Queen, obviously on Arrow this season. So we're on Emeco. Just let me take a drink of water before we do this. So Emeco. In regards to looks, Emeco is a solid S. S for Shishimuka. In regards to story, I hate the fact that Emeco is a villain. I've said this in my Arrow reviews. I absolutely hate the fact that she's a villain to the point where the show has put her. If they put her as like the antagonizing force, I would be okay. But what they did with the character, this is the part of the Arrow Season 7 I have the biggest issue with. There's people that complain about a lot of things, but I think Arrow Season 7 doesn't have that many issues. The biggest issue is Emeco Queen. It's fine having her on the antagonizing force, being a part of the Ninth Circle if they wanted to, but even though it's predictable from the comics, introduce that twist where it's, oh no, she's just a double agent essentially, and she's actually on the side of good, but she's doing this to get some revenge on something, or, you know, everything like that. And they set that up with the fact that her mother was murdered. Like, they have the perfect setup. She's in there to do all the stuff with, like, she was already in there, I guess, involved with it to, you know, from a young age, but she stays there and gets more heavily involved in stuff because of her mother's murder and starts doing other things. Look, she was never going to be, look, that's the thing, because it's a villain, and she was never going to be an A or an S villain because she shouldn't be a villain. But I don't know, this is the part I'm most disappointed with Arrow Season 7. I feel like this is the part where they've dropped the ball. Like, this is the part where I think, like, Beth Schwartz and the creative team have just gone lazy. You know what I mean? Like, and let's be completely honest, she's a better character than Dante. Dante had a really good actor in, I think his name's Adrian Paul. He was just a really good actor. Dante as a character was bland as hell. There was literally nothing there outside of like, oh, have you heard of my name? I'm a terrorist. Or, look at me, I have daggers. That's basically what Dante was. Outside of that, fairly terrible character. Emeco is a much more interesting character, but the way they went with her and the fact that she is the villain for the season. Who knows what happens in the finale? Maybe she redeems herself. Even though she's irredeemable because she dropped a building on her brother and his teammates and tried to kill them. You know what I mean? So it's not like she would have been like, oh, that's not going to kill him. It's sweet. But like, she was trying to kill him there. As a villain, she's an F. And I hate that because I actually like the character and I wanted to see them do something with her. But as a villain, Emeco is an F because she's a terrible villain. She shouldn't be a villain. What are her motives? Her motives are terrible. Like, I want to ruin your legacy by releasing a bioweapon? What? And killing all these innocent people? Your mother was innocent? What? That makes no sense. Okay, the plot around it, the motive makes no sense. You know what I mean? The motive for what she's doing in regards to trying to hurt other people makes no sense. I can understand trying to take down Team Arrow, but the other motives and like releasing this bioweapon, what? Like, no, it doesn't make sense. As a villain, she's an F. As a character, I've liked the story and everything like that. Don't get me wrong. The story and everything like that is a solid B because I like the whole backstory and everything like that. And she can play a villain as well. Like the Seishimuka can like do the whole actress, like the villainy thing. Like, she has the look and stuff. But the actual motive and everything like that, I hate it as a villain. It sucks. And obviously, I could be, you know, Arrow's tomorrow. Arrow finale's tomorrow. And they could completely change my mind. You know, make me Steven Crowder with a cup of coffee. You know, change my mind. But at the moment, I think it's an F. I think that's an F at the moment because the motive sucks. If you understand what I'm saying, you know why I'm putting her an F. You know I love Seishimuka, you know? Queen waifu of the Arrowverse, tied up there with Jessica Parker Kennedy. Look, they're battling off at Queen tier, and I think it's Seishimuka that's currently winning. But the villain stuff, it's bad. I know this might be like a controversy, and it's nothing against Seishimuka either. See, if you're watching, I still love you. Don't worry. But yeah, I don't know. It's just I can't put it higher because the motive sucks and the writing sucks. Like I just can't put a higher than that. I think, you know what I mean. Just because this isn't ranking characters. This is ranking villains. So I think that's fair. So that's the final ranking. So in S tier, we have Reverse Flash, Deathstroke, or sorry, mispronunciation there. We have Reverse Flash, Deathstroke, I think that's how you pronounce it. Prometheus or Agent Chase. Then in the A tier, we have Zoom and Legion of Doom. In the B tier, we have Malcolm Merlin, Ra's al Ghul, Rain, and Ricardo Diaz. In the C tier, we have Vandal Savage, Sabotage, Mullis or Malassa, however you pronounce his name. Damien Dark, Devo or the Thinker. Red Daughter, Supergirl or Russian Supergirl. Cicada. And then in the F tier, we have Non/Astra, whatever that was. Raya, Neron, and then Emeco as well. So that's the ranking. Yeah, it's a bit of a controversial one, I guess, in some aspects. I think some people might love it, some people might hate it, and disagree with. That's fine. You know, it all comes down to opinion. As I said, with some of them, I got your guys' opinions as well, just to you know, tie into what we're talking about and everything like that. But we will quickly go to this scene here because I do want to quickly what do you call it? Just go through some of the super chats we got. So thank you to Doug with the $2. What about ranking Arrowverse memes? That's a possibility. The ranking thing we can keep doing until the cows come home. Doug with the $5 as well. You should do ranking Arrowverse memes and side villains. The side villains thing we could do, which I won't, because a lot of them we can do, especially like that'll involve Godspeed and everything like that. Mark Guggenheim and Todd Helbing are S rank easily. That's from Ash with the $2. Yeah, they have some input here with some of these villains, don't they? And then Brandon with the $2. You rock, Pagey. Thank you very much for the thank you very much for that, Brandon. This stream went for sorry, I'm just getting that Photoshop thing off my screen. This stream went for 50 minutes, which is pretty surprising. But I do want to thank you guys for joining in. You know, this is basically the whole reason for doing the stream, so I'm not going to sit here too much and bore you guys. Yeah, Viper and Turds, you've wrote that comment a couple of times. It's I've seen it. But I think that's it. So we'll probably end the stream here, guys. Arrow finale tomorrow. Can't wait. Then Flash finale the day after. So get your excitement pants on if they're an actual thing. But yeah, so I'll catch you guys then. Thanks for tuning into the stream. As I said, we were talking about earlier, next week, this like around the same time this started, we will do a ranking thing for the heroes of the Arrowverse and stuff like that. So, you know, Flash, Arrow, and some of the side characters as well. And yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. If you are watching now, it'd be awesome if you could actually drop a like on this stream, because this video will go live after the fact. So if you are still watching, please drop a like on it to show your support. And yeah, so I'll catch you guys on the next stream, and goodbye.